Hello again. I love you. What do you have in your mouth? Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new around here, hello, I'm Stefania. Gigi's going absolutely crazy. She's just tearing it up. Okay. And if you're returning, hey, what's up? How you been? I know that my outfit is like kind of giving stoner girl, which is fine. Can you stop? But I bought it from a small business on Venice Beach in California, okay? I kind of love it. It's got like a really cute hood on it. They're called neighbor hoodies. I don't know if you can see that in the back, but I live in this thing. Look at the pockets too. So I've noticed recently that there's been a continual uptick in most of my old Starbucks videos. Just recently, I received a couple comments from my old Starbucks videos informing me that they used my tips, they got the interview, they got the job, which makes me really happy. Figured we could continue the conversation with a list of Starbucks interview questions and how to properly answer them. I haven't dove in as deep into this topic in terms of specific questions and specific answers, so I figured we could make this into a series, with this one being part 1. There's already nothing scarier than heading into an interview and maybe not knowing a whole lot about the job or what you're entering into. So if you're entering a Starbucks interview not knowing very much about coffee, you're not alone. So allow me to help you prepare for your interview so you have the best chance of landing the job. This video will focus on just general questions that your Starbucks interviewer might ask you, will ask you. If you find this video helpful today, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss another video in this series. I was a Starbucks barista from 2016 to 2019, so almost 4 years. I learned a lot while I worked at Starbucks. Mostly about coffee, yes, but how to collaborate with other people, work with the team, work with all different kinds of people, patience. It's a virtue, efficiency, and so much more. I think Starbucks is a great job to hold, despite the crazy Karens. A few months back, I made a YouTube video discussing my secret sauce on landing the job at Starbucks. So if you haven't watched that one yet, definitely go watch that. I discussed some questions that you might be asked, but now we're gonna go more in depth. And I'm gonna give you intel on exactly what your manager or the person who is interviewing you is looking for in your answers to their questions. While I was at Starbucks, I never personally hired anybody, but I did help review applications from time to time. So I did collaborate pretty closely with my hiring manager, so I do know what they're looking for. So let's say you get the call from Starbucks. They're calling you to set up an interview. They received your application, they wanna talk with you. You're heading to the interview. The interview's at 1 p.m., let's say. Arrive at the latest of 12:50. Always 10 to 15 minutes prior. Even if they aren't able to get to you right away, it shows that you're punctual, shows that you're reliable. Those are two things that baristas absolutely need to be. You may even be offered a free beverage while you wait. Find a table, sit down, the hiring manager will come get you when they are ready. Off the bat, you can expect super simple questions like, tell me about yourself, where do you go to school if you're a student? Really basic. It's just to open the conversation up, answer these freely. It's not that deep at this point in the interview. After those questions, it may lead into some more Starbucks specific questions. One question that I know gets asked pretty frequently is, so why Starbucks? Which is a great question, because realistically, you could have gone to Dunkin', you could have gone to Pete's, you could have gone to Dunn Brothers, like any other coffee shop. Why Starbucks? It could be because you love coffee. It could be because you want to try new coffee brewing methods. Could be because you want to learn more about the vast world of coffee. Maybe it's because you love to connect with people. You like to talk with people, make someone's day brighter. These are just examples. But if your interviewer asks you, so why Starbucks? Please do not answer with, well, I just love Frappuccinos, or that you just love their birthday cake pops. But I would recommend here relating one of your experiences to the job. So for me, if I were asked at this point, so why Starbucks? I would respond with, I thrive in fast-paced environments and I do my best work collaboratively. I also have a passion for coffee and I love trying new espresso blends and learning about them. I tied in a couple strengths of mine that apply to Starbucks while also noting a couple of things that Starbucks is known for. The next question, so why do you want to be a barista? Also a valid question. You can go be a bartender, you could go be a server, you could be a retail employee. Why do you want to be a barista? Same kind of dealio as before, try to relate it to the job if possible. For me, I would say something along the lines of, I want to be a barista because there's just so much to learn about coffee and I want to refine my coffee palate. Again, it's not that you like Frappuccinos, it's not that you like making Frappuccinos, it's specific. Then they might ask you something along the lines of your experience with coffee. Please do not lie here. Do not embellish. If they're leading with the assumption that you have prior coffee knowledge because you lied about that in the interview, they may expect more out of you than you're necessarily ready to do. And that's just not going to be a good look, nor is it going to be fun for you. Please don't lie on your resume about this either. Prior to the interview, they did look at your resume, and even if you didn't have prior coffee experience, they still called you for a reason. Here's an example of how I would answer the question of what is your prior coffee experience? Yes, I have 4 years of prior coffee experience. I worked at Starbucks for about 3 years and then moved to a local cafe in Chicago where I worked for about a year. When I was at that cafe, I learned an entirely new espresso machine as well as different methods and techniques when it came to brewing coffee. I became a certified barista in 2016 following my initial Starbucks training and have worked to maintain that since. If you don't have experience, here's what I would recommend saying. I do not currently have any prior coffee experience. However, I'm a quick learner and I'm eager to learn everything there is about coffee. Always follow up with a trait of yours or pulling something from your resume that suggests that you are a fast learner. Pull in your experience and talk yourself up. Moving on to the number one question that you will for sure be asked in your first Starbucks interview. What's your availability? Now, I know that a lot of people tend to lie or embellish a little bit during this part of the interview. Don't do that. Do not lie about your availability. I know it sounds tempting because you want to get the job, you're eager to conform to the store's needs. Because let's say that you lied about it and then they hire you under the assumption that you can work the days and times that they need someone to work. And then you're a few weeks into the job and you try to change your availability. Well, the reason they hired you was because they needed you for those days and those hours. If you now all of a sudden can't because you lied initially, they might let you go. And then that's just a big fat waste of time. There's probably like 7 other stores in your area. There's a Starbucks on every corner. So if one Starbucks is not aligning with your schedule, another one will. Give them exactly what your availability is. If it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays, then it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Even if you don't exactly align with what the store is looking for, you still have a pretty good chance of getting hired. Just be honest. Last question for this video on general Starbucks interview questions that you will be asked. This one is really important. What is your experience working in a collaborative work environment? Starbucks, as I'm sure you can imagine, is a very collaborative work environment. You've got your drive-through people relying on your drive-through bar and your cafe bar relying on the front register. Everyone is working in tandem with each other. It's chaos, but it's collaborative chaos. You will be depending on people and people will be depending on you. It's the name of the game. When you are asked this question, I would highly recommend answering it with experience that you already have. No matter who you are, we've all worked in a group setting before. It doesn't matter, at some point in our lives, we've all worked with other people. Tie in your prior experience when answering this question. If you were a server before applying to Starbucks, talk about how the kitchen staff relied on you to properly put in orders. If you're in school, talk about that group project you worked on where everyone had their assigned responsibilities and maybe you were the project manager. You get the gist, but I would recommend rounding your answer off with how much you enjoy working on a team and working with others towards a common goal. Throw that one in there, just trust me. Those are the first few questions that you will be asked in a Starbucks interview and how to properly answer them. In the next video, we will go over other interview questions such as, tell me about a time where you had to work with someone that you disagreed with. Yeah, I know, fun stuff, but important stuff, because these might come up in your interview. Stay prepared so you don't have to get prepared. Be nice to a barista, good luck on your interviews, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.